Hi, Sheila.
Hi, Steve.
Hey.
Upright. Yeah, just trying to work out how to get my screen switched on. So,
Yep, no problem.
me, I suppose. Yeah, my end. Speaker view.
Morning, Martin.
Hi, Steve. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Martin.
Okay.
Ah, wait a minute.
Yeah, you had it. All right. Look on Messenger.
Ooh.
I got Dick Belson on here, Steve. He's trying to get through. He had no message, not yet. He says. You want Messenger now? I'll just come straight in. I'll just click the link and come straight in. I got a problem with mine. Mine keep kicking my system out.
Good morning.
I'll send you a link. Hang on a sec.
Thanks.
It's evening over here, but good morning.
Yeah, I know.
Definitely morning here. Oh, we've got Quentin White joining us.
Hang on a minute.
Review. Quentin told me how to get my picture because he had the same problem.
Right.
I still can't work it out.
Quentin.
Hey,
good morning.
Quentin.
Hello, Quentin.
Howdy.
Oh, here we go.
You must have got the CMMA article, Quentin.
I'll get the
Yes.
phone down a minute.
Very good.
Yeah, Dick, try that. What's new come through to you?
Morning, Steve. Still connecting.
Try and join up with that.
What the fuck is it? Oh,
Send you a cloud, a messenger message. Oh God, what's going on here? There we are. There we are. I think the wrong one. Let's try this one.
Steve and Steve.
Yeah, try that one.
Jacques coming in.
I'm looking at it on your screen. It should be on your screen now. I'm looking at it on your messenger. Now, just click on. I'll take you straight through into. Then Steve will let you in.
Maybe I won't.
Maybe he won't. He says. You got any orange, Steve? Anything there, Steve?
too many Steves on the line.
Yeah, we've just got another one joining now.
I've got a bad connection this end.
Hey, Steve. So that's 4 Steves so far. That's pretty good.
One Richard who's trying to get in.
I reckon there's one Frank Moore coming, so.
Who's the Steve with no name?
Steve
I
Rust.
don't know what it is.
Steve Rust.
Steve
Okay,
Rust.
thank you.
Is there anyone else there who can do it for you? I then clicked on that link and that took me straight into it.
Can anyone tell me if there's a button I can click on my screen that will actually show me in my little video screen?
Download it. I think you have to download it. No, I didn't.
I'm on Zoom, yeah.
Zoom is not supported on your. What browser are you on then? Yeah, Microsoft.
Yeah.
Sheila,
You saw me on it.
Sheila,
No, I'm talking to Dick.
yeah, Martin's talking to Dick. He's not talking to you at the moment.
Oh, sorry, that's all right.
I've just sent.
We'll let try and sort it out later, Dick. I can't figure out.
Hang on, I'm just muting Martin for a moment. So, Sheila, I've just sent a request for you to start your video. Should have a link or something.
That came up, and then all I've got is it said start the video.
Yeah.
And it's disappeared again.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
There's a thing called share screen.
Oh, there's another Frank.
Not sure what that does.
No, share screen is not the button. You need the button video. It's on the left hand side of the same bar.
Select camera.
Yes.
Yeah, but it doesn't like my camera. And yet, I've had a talk with Martin Stallworthy. Do virtual background. I don't want that done.
Morning, Carlo. Good morning, Carlo.
Hi. Hello.
Hi, Steve.
David Ifold.
Hello, Colleen.
Oh, love, you all right?
Morning, Bruce.
Yeah, I still can't get my picture. Useless.
Morning,
Never
David.
There it is.
Don't worry.
So, Jacques and Doug, you've got no video. I'm assuming that's intentional. You both, oh, yeah, Doug, you're off mute now.
That's correct. My video is not working right now.
Okay, cool. And Jacques?
That's muted.
Yeah, Jacques, you're muted at the moment. Unmute.
There you go.
I just unmuted here. Oh, sorry, I just... Martin, I'm trying to unmute you, but not successfully. We've got Julian and Barb just coming in.
Evening all.
Evening. You all right, Richard?
Barb.
Yeah.
Colleen?
Yeah. Hello, Bob. You
Evening,
all right, love?
Colleen.
Jane's coming
Hiya.
in.
How you doing? All right.
Not too bad, thank you. I nearly missed it. I was thinking it was tomorrow night.
Yeah, wrong one, David.
Do you know what? I have a bad enough time figuring out what day it is at the best of times. So that really threw me.
We're all learning about time zones now, aren't we?
Yeah, Colleen, it's
We
Wednesday.
are.
It would never get to me, unfortunately. I'm number blind, so I never remember dates, times, or anything. So
We're glad
a
you're here.
reminder is always good.
Now, Steve Rust, you're still muted as well. I'm not sure if that's intentional.
Yeah, keep him muted.
I've got Christina coming in.
How you doing, Frank?
Which Frank?
You're muted as well.
Good morning, Christina.
Good morning.
So still just, there's a couple more supposed to be joining as well, so I'll hold on for a few more minutes. Steve, you're unmuted now. Steve Rust. So Colleen, he didn't listen to you.
Yeah. Hi, Rusty.
Yeah. Yeah, we've got a terrible sound.
Yeah, dreadful sound.
Doug's just dropped out because he just lost internet.
Come on.
I actually had trouble getting connected myself this morning. I was a bit worried about it.
Likewise.
Oh, we've got somebody called Galaxy S6 coming in. That might be Doug rejoining us. Or maybe not. No. So who's Galaxy S6? S6?
Yeah, it's a phone, I think.
Yeah, it is, but and muted. I can't unmute. Hello.
Hello.
You've come up as Galaxy S6 as your name.
That's right.
Oh my God, is this annoying?
That's funny to see everyone here.
Sitting on 22 participants at the moment.
Evening, Richard.
Good evening.
Hello.
Hello, Frank.
Hi.
Steve, he can't get on. I don't know what he's done wrong, but he can't get on.
Oh, bugger.
They got domestic going on with his daughter in the house now as well, so she's trying to sort it out for him. He don't know what he's doing.
All right, I'll keep an eye open and see.
I'll get him sorted out during the week somehow.
All right. Well, we've got 22 participants, which is pretty good. So,
Do you only have my telephone name, or do you have my name?
no, we have your telephone name.
Ah, okay. So maybe I can try to do something for.
Yeah, that might be when you join. I'm not sure.
It will be in the joining up bit. There's a thing in there you can change your name.
Well, just say your name.
Oh, at least I can tell you my name. I'm Eric Elise Minero.
Yeah.
Right.
That would be the easiest.
If you go to the top right-hand corner of your box, you'll see three. You'll see three little white dots in a blue square. If you click on that, you can rename yourself.
I do not have them. I only have
More. If you click more.
I do not have more.
Yeah, I don't see that option.
You go to your name and
Right,
then you can see.
All right.
Right. Wait. I have something there. Let's try this.
Dick is joining. Paul, good morning.
Good morning, Steve. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you.
I see you. I see you had a new lens arrive.
I did.
Does this mean that we can look forward to seeing you rephotograph your entire collection?
No, but I'll be using it probably if so Dick has joined us. Good morning, Dick.
He's there, isn't he?
He is.
Yeah.
Hey.
Well, the ID has only just this moment come through for some reason. I don't know. There you go.
Good evening, Richard.
Ah, there you are.
Yes, I'm here. I'm here.
What did you do?
Just killed his daughter, I think.
Yeah, no, the ID didn't come through. That's all.
Ah.
That's a bit weird, but anyway.
Came through about.
Oh, Lord, yes, it is.
Oh, Sheila.
I just had some,
Well done, Sheila.
a bit more red wine.
Sheila's there.
Hello.
Remember how to do that next time.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know what it was.
Where's Quentin?
Well, I think
Quentin,
it's gonna stay like that for tonight.
Are you good?
Good.
You okay? Yeah.
Yeah. It'll work better.
All right. Now we've got 24 participants, which is pretty good. I think for the next meeting in 2 weeks' time, Martin, you said you might have something that you could actually.
I've got about maybe a 30-40-minute presentation I can put on.
Yep, excellent.
David's seen it before. David Eifold has seen it, but Rich.
I'll see it again.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
It will be on a little favourite mine of mine in Cornwall called Killam Mine.
All right. I'll put it into the next.
It's the home of the third British Jean Bandiite and the fifth world Jean Bandiite.
All right. Excellent.
I've got a little bit of a story to go with it as well. So
excellent. And that'll be in 2 weeks' time.
Yep.
I'll set that up. And today, where are we? Doug. There's too many faces on the screen. I have to look around to see where you are. And you're right next to me on the screen. Go figure. Doug is going to give us a talk today on the Summit,
Including Lemolo Lake.
Okay, excellent. So what we might do, it's 7 minutes past, so we might kick off. If I can just ask people to mute their microphones again, so there's no interference, no background noise, because that tends to cut across the speaker. And Doug, you're happy to take questions as we go, if that's...
As we go or at the end, doesn't matter.
All right, so if anybody does have any questions, just unmute and then remute yourself. And if anybody else comes in, I'll let them in as we go. And Doug, I'll pass it over to you.
Okay. Let's see here. No, I got a message, host disabled participant screen sharing.
Sorry, that's my fault. Hang on. Just gotta get to, where's the settings on this one? Security. I forgot that last time as well. So you should be okay now.
Okay, let's try again.
I think Zoom have set that as a standard setting now to don't allow share.
No, I got to get the right stuff over here.
Yep, it's good.
Except I'm not seeing it where I want it.
Okay. So you need to open it. So unshare for the moment. Oh no, there you go.
There we go. I had to move it off one monitor onto the other.
Ah, okay, cool. All right, I'll leave you to it.
There. Okay, this is going to be on Summit Rock and Lemolo Lake, which are a couple of collecting areas up here in Oregon. And to get us located, Bruce Kelly lives about here. If you're following the laser pointer, I live about here. And the collecting areas we're talking about here are down in southwestern Oregon, just north of Crater Lake. Here we have Crater Lake, Summit Rock, and the Lemolo Lake Quarry and the Lemolo Lake Spillway. And if you're ever in the area, this lake here has excellent Forest Service campground. We've got Mount Thielsen here, which is an extinct volcano, and Summit Rock is, in my research, has showed up as a subsidiary event to Thielsen. And Thielsen was last active sometime in the last 250 to 100,000 years. And this whole area is blanketed under the pumice and ashfall from the eruption that created Crater Lake. Come on, get my... And there is Summit Rock. The access road is here. You can drive all the way up to the top. The upper area here it's still got some of the old red scoria that used to blanket the whole dome. And you can collect in there, you can collect in this pit and several areas around us. And this shows the closest geologic map I could get to show any of the geology here. Crater Lake is right here if you're following my little hand pointer there. All this brown stuff is andesite that is less than 5 million years old. And it's in that andesite that we are finding the minerals both at Summit Rock and over Lemolo Lake. And that's the east face of Summit Rock. Lots of solid boulders that aren't worth looking at. You've got to find the ones with the cavities. And this is a view from the top. If you were here 7,700 years ago, you would have been looking at the massive eruption that formed Crater Lake, because that is the rim of Crater Lake. It's over on the other side of that. Up at the top, we've got some of my collecting friends, Billy Bob Tompkins, Don Howard, and his wife, Jeannie. Don has been instrumental in doing a lot of the ID work here. He's a professor emeritus from Portland State University and specialized in material science and had access to X-ray and SEM, so he's helped a lot on our IDs. Current mineral list for Summit Rock. And the ones that are, the one that is of most interest to people collecting here is this guy right here. That's the Holy Grail. And you're very, very lucky if you ever find one. They're very, very scarce. The Krupa. Okay, this is a photo of a typical pocket that's found in the most of the rock there, except the red scoria stuff. That's got a different suite. We have the enstatite crystals, the ilmenite. There are clear needles of fluorapatite. And if you got sharp eyes, you might find the two zircons that are here. There's a little pink guy right here and another little pink one up here. One showing the ilmenite, lots more of the fluorapatite and the enstatite. And here we have ilmenite, enstatite, and augite. There was some question whether this was augite or dioptase. And a number of years ago, Etienne Medard from France was doing a postdoc here in the US. He recognized this material as similar to a place he had collected and analyzed stuff. So Don Howard sent him some material from here, and he did quantitative work and X-ray work on it. And this green stuff is in fact augite. And all the white stuff on the background is a combination of elbite and tritomite. Enstatite crystal. Another enstatite. Here we have some ilmenite crystals along with an enstatite. They do have filiform ilmenite here. Don Howard's found one, and just the other day, I found a piece with one. I made 3 successful trims to get it down where I could get it under the scope, and on the 4th trim, the filiform ilmenite departed for parts unknown. Here we have a zircon, enstatite, augite, and another ilmenite. And here's probably the best zircon I've found. We've got 2 main crystals here and a cluster of very small ones. There's an azurine crystal at the top here, and then augite. And field of view on that's 0.9 of a millimeter, so those are pretty small crystals. My personal experience here is if you have cavities that don't have any augite, you're probably not going to find topaz. Most of all the topaz I've found has been in cavities that contain the augite. From a boulder up on the summit area near where the photo was taken of a group of us eating lunch, we have cristobalite with an enstatite, some ilmenite, and this is the anorthite feldspar. And there's a few needles of fluorapatite as well. Here we have a pseudobrookite crystal on an ilmenite crystal with enstatite and the fluorapatite. This is rare to find the pseudobrookite with ilmenite in this particular association. It's more often in the more oxidized stuff. Here we've got fluoridinite. This was identified by Etienne Medard. Initially, everybody was calling this hornblende, then magnesio hornblende, and his research showed that it was in fact the fluoridinite. Four summit rock, easiest way to tell that apart from the enstatite is the drastic difference in the length to width ratios. So you see the instatites are shorter and fatter. Also, the terminations on the fluoridinite are very simple compared to the more complex terminations on the enstatite. And this is a very old photograph taken through my microscope from years ago. Another rather difficult mineral to find there is a boborthite. It's the yellow. The light blue is quercicola. And this green material was analyzed by Don Howard. It's probably just a copper silica gel. He got a very weak X-ray pattern off of it, but wasn't enough to do any identification work on it. So he figures it's just a gel. The Holy Grail, the cupellite. This is a half millimeter field of view, and this is a cluster of tetragonal plates. When you find one, they're real obvious because of their color. It's the only thing that's going to stand out like that at this location. Now up on the summit, where you get into some of the more oxidized outer material from the dome, you find some nice fluorapatite crystals. You also find hematite now instead of ilmenite. And this was an enstatite crystal that has pseudomorphed to azurine. You also find these brick red enstatites. The red covering on them is, coating on them is hematite. I don't think anybody's ever analyzed, we've been calling these ilmenite, but there's a possibility that they could be hematite. And here we have the enstatites with the hematite coating. These are hematites. When you start seeing the yellow azurine, you're not going to be finding ilmenite here. It'll all be hematite. And there's a bunch of azurine. And there's a distinct azurine after enstatite with hematite. And here we have another enstatite that's almost all altered to the azurine. You can see a little bit of the brown color in there that's probably still enstatite. And now we have some pseudobrookite crystals in here. And then some very distinct azurine crystals here. A very lustrous group of hematite along with phalogopite and a little bit of azurine up here. This is not one I found. This is something I picked up at the NCMA meeting, or the Northern California Mineralogical Association, at their free table, and it's an ex-Dave Yeoman's specimen, as is this from out of his collection. Phalogopite with hematite. And here we've got some nice pseudobrookite crystals, and again, the azurine, or the enstatite that's altered to azurine, and this one's still got a little phantom of a enstatite in it. Now we're going to move on to the Lemolo Lake area. This picture was taken from up on Mount Thielsen, just before you have to start the steep climb up to the summit. There's Lemolo Lake. This is the dam. There's a spillway just about in here. These buildings here are a fishing resort. That's a very popular fishing area. And the Lemolo Lake Quarry is just below the dam over in here. The lavas from this possibly came from Mount Thielsen, or a combination of Mount Thielsen, Mount Bailey, and Diamond Peak. Very inadequate mapping has been done in this area to sort out what came from where. In the Google view, the dam, the spillway. There's a little road that goes back in here, and where the yellow marker's at, you can park, and the collecting is done in boulders along in here, and the quarry down below. Current mineral list for Lemolo Lake. And that's my wife, and that's Don Howard. This is the upper flow in the area. As it flowed over this rubbly stuff down here, the chemical interaction with that left a very thin zone in this upper flow that has the minerals in it. And I know some of you probably know Joe Marty. This was in May. Shortly before Joe departed for warmer climates, it was snowing about 200 feet above us. But that's the spillway gate behind him. What you're looking for here is rock with this reddish crust on it. Without that, if you've just got plain gray rock, you've probably got very unproductive stuff. What you want is to get this about a 2 to 3 centimeter zone from the red crust on into the gray andesite. On the interior, you got lots of little cavities, but all they have in them is enstatite and ilmenite. Nothing else of interest, and they're pretty tiny in there. Kelly Starnes is one of our Northwest collectors in our Northwest micro group. And to my knowledge, he's the only one that's found any titanite there. Got one here, another small one here, and some fluorapatite crystals. He also found some short, fat fluorapatite crystals. Not typical at all for these localities, and lots of yellow, a lot of yellow diopside. And the diopside was another one of the minerals that was confirmed by Etienne Mendard when he was doing his analytical work for us. And then we have fluoroedenite, which is another one of the ones that he did the work on. And this is a very typical termination on the fluoroedenite from the Lemolo Lake, both the spillway and down in the quarry. Got a little bit of ilmenite, and then clusters of dioptase. I have to watch myself. I keep trying to say dioptase instead of diopside. Kelly Starnes also found some very, very pale pink zircons with a little diopside. Again, these are very tiny and very hard to spot. Even knowing where it's at, I have trouble finding it. Here's a couple fluoroedenite crystals, some elbite, and this is a magnetite crystal. And we have a lot of tritomite up there, but it's hard to find something that's worth photographing. But we've got several clusters here of tritomite crystals. We've got some enstatite in here, and there are some black ilmenite crystals scattered around as well as a few blades of or needles of the fluorapatite. One of the things people really go to Lemolo Lake at the spillway for is the pseudobrookite. And we've got one here. And until I looked at this photo, I had never noticed these under the scope, but when I took the photo, I got to see these little round blebs. But I suspect those are probably opal, the hyalite opal, although it's not confirmed. Another pseudobrookite. We've got a V-notch up in here, so this is probably a twin. They've found several styles of twins, but I haven't really found many of those in what I have. Some more pseudobrookite. And dioptase, or I thought I wasn't going to do that, diopside. And some more diopside. And this is another one that Kelly Starnes found. It's the phalogopite. And we'll drop down to the quarry. So all three of these locations are drive-in, so that makes it nice. From about here around out of sight to the left is some productive rock. The stuff in the far background here, we really haven't found much of anything in. And on this trip here, it was probably over 100 degrees. And there's a list of minerals that are found in the quarry. This looks like it would be from Summit Rock, but I found one boulder here that has the enstatite, hematite, and a little bit of fluoridinite that, unlike the pictures I showed of it from the up at the spillway, is more like the stuff from Summit Rock, long and thin. The more typical fluoridinite for the locality. And then there's a lot of rock like this down there. We've got nice albite crystals here. We have a Heddenbergite crystal in here. They're either very dark olive brown to a light or dark olive green to a light olive green. And associated with this are magnetites. You may also find ilmenites on them. And these little reddish guys are enstatite. Make very busy little specimens. Here we have more albite, ilmenite, Heddenbergite, scattered all around, and some fluorapatite needles. And here we've got clusters of cristobalite. And down with this, we have the enstatite and the fluorapatite, some ilmenite. And these blocky clear crystals are sanidine. Also find clusters of tritomite down there, along with the apatite, a little bit of enstatite. And here we've got a couple of ilmenite crystals, Hindenburgite crystals here, and scattered all around, and a few other ilmenites, the fluorapatite. There's another Hindenburgite crystal. It's fractured, but it's been held together between the ilmenite crystals and the elbite and fluorapatite. Okay, where's my... There we go. And probably the best Hindenburgite crystal that I've found with magnetite, elbite, fluorapatite. Another Hindenburgite. It's got a little enstatite on it, fluorapatite, elbite. That's a little cristobalite cluster. And they've also got azurine there. And enstatite crystals, one that's changed, some that are in the process of changing. Cristobalite mass. And a bunch of references for the locality. My first knowledge of the place came from this mineralogical record article by Bill Henderson. And from that, I obtained a copy of the Wallace Kleck Cavity Minerals of Summit Rock. Kleck misidentified the zircon as rutile, but then these gentlemen here have an article in Mineralogical Record confirming the zircons. Bill Wise is another one of the folks that's done a lot of ID work for us. He's a professor emeritus from University of California, Santa Barbara, and done a lot of work involving basalt and andesite type rock. And I believe, and probably Bruce Kelly can confirm this, but I think we've got all of this stuff where you see microprobe referred to. Our Northwest group has a website that should have all those issues on it.
I believe that's right.
Yeah,
we don't have the oldest. We don't have the oldest ones, but we will soon.
No, I've got all of them, but I had to scan all the old ones before we went digital on them.
Yeah, Julian just scanned all the old ones for me, so we're going to be able to put them all online now.
No, he's probably got a better scanner than I do. Now this is the setup I have for doing all the mineral photography. This is my brand new computer. It's a Canon T5i with a 7200 f4 L series lens, and I use Mitutoyo 5 and 10x objectives. And the new lights that I got from M-Scope, which I like a lot, much better lighting than what I had. And of course, dual monitors. Another view of it. That computer's got 13 USB ports, and I'm using 10 of them for the stuff I've got hooked up. But the nice thing about this, I switched to using Helicon Focus because a lot of you folks seem to be using it. This computer with Helicon, if you go into Helicon and enable OpenCL, and I've got a MSI GeForce 2060 graphics card, I can stack 200 image stacks in under a minute. I ran a 486 image stack the other day, and it was about 2 minutes. In Zreen, I could go sit and watch TV for a while. So has anybody got any questions?
So is that computer from Puget Systems?
Yes, it is.
Awesome.
That's Puget Systems, and unfortunately, they do not sell. They're not allowed to sell outside of the U.S.
That's a shame.
I figured that out because when I was up at Whistler in Canada one time, I was looking at it, and of course, I detected the location, said we can't sell at your location.
Right. I do know that they publish a lot of their specs online as well, so that's always useful. You can always build your own system. So, yeah, I've been a long time fan of theirs ever since they did a video back in the late noughties showing them overclocking a PC in a fish tank full of silicon oil.
Yeah, they do a lot of testing. They do build good stuff, and yeah, if you're looking at doing a custom computer for this kind of work, you can definitely take a look at their specs, and they test all this stuff and put together what you need for your purposes.
The other question I was going to ask is the white ring around your specimen. What is that? Obviously, it's a diffuser. So
it's right here. For diffusers, I went to Amazon and I bought a package of lead diffusion paper, and that's their full white diffusion paper. There's 6 different versions in there, and I decided to go with the full white. And 2 sheets of each of the 6. That's like
thank you.
$25 US.
Can you put a link to that item on the chat, on the Google, I mean the Facebook chat?
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I found that works better than anything else I tried.
Hey, Doug.
Yeah.
Can you visually distinguish between Lemolo spillway and Lemolo quarry material?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
What marker should I be looking for?
Well, the fluorine, you're not going to find any of the fat. Let's go back here. This stuff, Hedenbergite, you're only going to find that down in the quarry. I think I might have found one piece up at the spillway, and that's probably a stray from when they built the dam. But up at the dam, most of the fluoroedenite you find is going to be this long, skinny stuff, not too much of this fat. And the very simple termination between the enstatites and the Hedenbergite, or the fluoroedenites, it's this very simple termination. The enstatites are real fat, or real complex, whether it's spillway down on the quarry or over at Summit Rock. Albites are always got sharp angles on them. The sanidine that's down in the lower quarry is always nice and blocky, almost rectangular instead of diamond shape. Magnetites are always octahedral. Now, when you get a bunch of magnetite and ilmenite on one of the Hedenbergite crystals, it can be very difficult to tell them apart because they do intergrow with one another. But the magnetite, if it's there, it's distinctly octahedral.
Yeah, I'll have to play around this evening. I've got some material I acquired from the Cleveland Symposium back in 2008 from Summit Rock and also from Lemolo Lake. It's doesn't specify lake or spillway or quarry, and that's what I was wondering if I could actually.
Well, Lemolo Lake, for the Lemolo Lake refers to the spillway area.
Right.
And one of these days, we should probably get MnDAT to change it to Lemolo Lake, and then under that have the spillway, the quarry, and I know there's other outcrops around the lake, so there's good possibility with some exploring. Yeah. There could be unknown prospects put up with just GPS coordinates.
That actually makes sense. I don't know if any one of us can do it on MnDAT or not, but that sounds very logical, actually.
I've got the capability of doing it, but you know, I put these localities up initially years ago, but since then they've changed how you have to work with localities, and I'm not sure I want to dive into that now.
Yeah. Well, I've been on MnDAT long enough. I might take a shot at it.
I've been on it. Well, I actually got invited by Julian when I first started.
I started looking at it in 2004.
Yeah, I'm one of those that after they lost their server, they don't have a start date for me because anybody that was on before that, they don't have the info on.
Yeah.
But this is all of these localities are still productive and open. There's no restrictions that I'm aware of unless you get into fire season.
Is the quarry operating, or is that just an abandoned
No,
site?
it was strictly to provide material for the dam.
Okay, so it's just open to the public, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, you come up from the spillway access and take a right, and almost immediately take another right, go down the road a little bit, and it bends around to the right and drops down to the quarry. Not a lot of shade down there, so if you're there in hot weather, it can it can be kind of brutal.
So I have a couple of pictures to show you to ask your opinion on.
Okay, let me get out of this so I can see what you're.
Let me see if I can do a share screen myself. Okay.
Okay, I've stopped sharing.
Okay. So here's my first one. And I have never been sure. This was from the up at the very peak of the Summit Rock, and I've never been sure if this was chrysocolla. That's just a really nice blue color. It just seems a little unusual there, or if it is Cooper Revi.
What's your field of view on that?
Let me back up here to a little over a millimeter, so it's pretty small.
I would suspect that's probably the Cooper Revi. That's the only blue stuff I know up there. The chrysocolla, as far as I know, was associated with a vorthite. And that vorthite is not found in any of the cavity-bearing rock. It's just found on boulders on an exposed surface. And it's, in all probability, it's probably post-quarrying that formed on it. Formed it.
Interesting.
Because there's no indication there was ever any seam. None of us have, or well, the people I know that have collected there, none of us have ever broken a rock and found it in a seam. It's always out on an exposed surface.
Okay. Yeah, I don't remember whether this one was or not.
Well, that's definitely cavity, and that doesn't.
Yeah. But it was. I mean, it's not as translucent as yours were. Yours was definitely crystals, and this one I've never been quite sure whether these were crystals or if they're just a mess from being banged around. Anyway, I've been curious about that one. And the second one, I was surprised that I didn't see anything like this in your pictures. This is my great score from my time up there. This magnetite crystal with these wonderful lines of epitaxial growth on them. Of course, there's a little enstatite crystal growing down here as well, and some hematite intruding the whatever this clear stuff is. But I in many discussions I've assumed and been told that this was probably hematite growing epitaxially on the magnetite crystal. Whatever it is, it's fascinating.
And actually, a magnetite crystal like that from Summit Rock is extremely scarce. From the research I was doing, that most of those are at Summit Rock are pretty nondescript. It's almost like they started dissolving away in the later stages of the mineralization in the cavities.
Well, this is the only one I found with this growth pattern on it, but I found a lot of magnetite on this particular rock that had nice sharp
dissolution
crystals.
pattern.
Maybe
is that what it is?
Dissolution pattern.
So you think that it's actually dissolved away
Well, I
favorably?
understand from what Doug said that the crystals seem to be dissolving. Maybe that's what's happening, is that it's etching away as opposed to growing out.
Maybe so. I don't know.
It's
interesting, certainly fascinating pattern, and really it's telling us something about the history of this particular crystal. That's, I wish I knew exactly what it was trying to scream at me, but it's a beautiful piece.
Something I didn't mention, and I don't have a picture of, up at Summit Rock, you can find brilliant red specks on some of the tritomite feldspar that are extremely thin hematite crystals that are actually translucent.
Yeah, I have some of those as well. They're beautiful red.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, just gorgeous.
Fortunately, I didn't have one I could take a picture of.
Mine have all been broken in one way or not another, so I don't have a real stellar one. But the color is just stunning. So, anyway, how do I exit this?
Up at the top.
Oh, there it is.
You see a green bar? Okay, there
Yeah.
you go. Yeah, if anybody does go collecting there, that Diamond Lake Campground is a place to stay unless you want a motel, and then I'm not sure where you're going to find one.
My aunt lives just a couple hours away, so it's very convenient.
I would not try to go there any earlier than early June. That picture of Joe Marty, we were there right after our May micro mineral meeting up here, which is the first weekend in May. We couldn't collect at Summit Rock because there was still a meter of snow on the access road. And then when Becky and I went to leave, we got up in the morning and there was 4 inches of fresh snow.
I'd also recommend bringing a chainsaw. The time when John Meek and I went up there, we ended up stopped because there were so many trees across the road. We managed to hand saw through a couple of them and sneak our way around and get up there, but it took us 2 hours of clearing the road to get up with a hand saw. So next time I'm bringing a chainsaw.
And if you go in July, August, or September, you might have to contend with forest fires or the smoke from them. In fact, we were at Crater Lake 3 years ago, and the road from Summit Rock, or the main highway that comes in from 97 to the north entrance of Crater Lake, there was fire burning along the road when we left Crater Lake, and we had some pretty smoky days up there. But the day we arrived, they had thunderstorms roll through, and there were 97 fires started in southwestern Oregon with that.
So Doug, one more question. The Cuproreivite you showed, do you remember what area of Summit Rock you found it? Was it at the top or was it down lower?
Yes, it's a non-conforming one because it's not in the typical material that you expect to find that in.
Okay.
But I suspect it probably came from up in that area, even though it's not the same rock as the piece you showed.
Okay.
It had to
And
be
what-
close, I would think.
And what rock are you looking for there? I mean, there's the, you know, everything from real clear, you know, unweathered material to stuff that's just full of agerine. Where were you looking?
Supposedly, the description I heard and saw written up somewhere was that the Cuproreivite is found in that stuff with the agerine and all. But I've never found any up there. And actually, this piece I have is one I collected in 1985, and I didn't realize it was there until 3 years ago when I was looking back over stuff.
Oh, it's a beauty.
So.
All right. Any more questions of Doug?
Just to say thanks very much. That was very good, very enjoyable.
Oh, thank you.
It's amazing how the stuff seems to resemble other places. I've been looking at stuff from the Eiffel today, and it's the volcanic structure of the rocks seems to be pretty much universal across the world. I've collected in New Zealand in Henderson's quarry, and it's the same sort of material again, and it's a really, apart from in Britain, we don't get it.
Yeah.
All we get over here is the stuff that Steve Rust has got up in, we get up in Scotland, and it's the maronitic granite stuff, and that's the only thing we get, which is volcanic with crystals in, apart from the basalt, of course. But
well, most of
very
our
interesting. Yeah, very
most
good.
Of our volcanics,
yeah.
Most of our volcanics here has got zeolites in it.
Yeah, yeah.
Our group was looking at Henderson Quarry stuff last night.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But nothing as dramatic as.
I was there in 2005.
Right. Yeah.
I stayed with Phil Andrews, and he took me in to the. I went to the gathering, the October meeting with Phil Andrews.
Yeah.
I spent the 4 days in the campground near Taupo.
Right. Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah, brilliant stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I live just near Littleton Quarry, so I've been smashing up lumps of that, but I can't find anything other than chabazite. So it's yeah.
Yeah. No, I never got down that far.
I had an opportunity to collect with Jocelyn Thornton and her husband. They were out here with Don Howard, mid-90s, I believe. And we spent the better part of a week down in the John Day River area in Oregon collecting zeolites with them. So that's my connection to the New Zealand folks.
Oh, right. Yes. Jocelyn's always talking about Don Howard. Yeah.
I think they've done a lot of trading.
Yeah. Yeah.
And actually, I believe Don and Jeannie went over there on a sabbatical, and they stayed near where Jocelyn lives at.
Yeah, Wellington.
Wellington.
Yeah, Wellington. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jocelyn is one heck of a lady.
Yep, she would still like to be walking over rocky riverbeds now, but she can't really. It's just getting too hard. Yeah.
We
Give her
took
my
her for a
best
week.
wishes.
Yeah, we took her down to Sheila's for a week, didn't we? Yeah.
Yeah, well, Jocelyn stayed with us, didn't she?
Yeah,
Down in
that's
Cornwall.
right. Yeah, me and Bob brought her down. Yeah, in Bob's wagon. Yeah.
Nice lady.
Yeah.
Yeah, very nice.
All right, Doug, could also thank you for including the formulas alongside the mineral names. That was for Sheila's.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Did
Well,
you notice it, Sheila?
And that's the stuff that when we were talking about the rough website last time, was all taken off of their mineral list. Makes it so easy instead of having to type it all in and get the superscripts and subscripts.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if there's no more questions, we might wrap that up. It's just coming up to the hour mark here. So Doug, once again, thank you very much for an interesting talk. It's very good.
Super pictures. Lovely pictures.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
That was great.
And in 2 weeks' time, Martin, you'll be raring to go. And hopefully I'll join a few of you UK-based people on the Russell Society one in 22 hours' time.
I shall miss that. I've seen that talk 3 times already, so I'll probably miss that one.
Well, I'm going to get up early. I'm going to get up at 4:30 a.m. for that one. So.
Good grief.
Early, Steve.
There was some confusion on Messenger early. There was I think someone was thinking it was
David. Yeah.
That was you, was it, David? Yeah.
Yeah, because Steve is talking about Wednesday, and of course it's Tuesday here.
Yeah.
Maybe we can put the common time zones in the original message, so it's right up top.
What I do, I go on my iPad. I've got the facility to put the world clock up. And on there, it's got all the time zones on it, so I can know exactly where it is.
Yeah,
that's pretty useful. That
it gives us a challenge.
There's a website called Date and Time that has a meeting planner. I'll put a link to it. I've found that very useful for working out what my local time is compared to other people's local time around the world. So
yeah,
where are you, David?
David.
Hey.
Well, Paul.
Paul, I'm in Australia. We're near Steve.
Okay, yeah.
Just up the road. I'm a local.
When he says near, it's about 120k or 130k away.
Yeah,
But,
there's me and Richard and me and Steve then. Richard's about 260 mile away. Steve's about 170, 200 mile away. Sheila's over 400.
Yeah, so local, right?
Pretty local, yeah.
Well, 400 miles, you're out of the Netherlands, so our country isn't that big.
And Val's only just across the ditch from us as well. So.
That's right, but I'm ex-Adelaide, so.
Okay.
One of us.
All right. So I'll put up the new event on Facebook. I'll get this recording up on YouTube probably in the next 24 hours or so. So if anybody wants to revisit it, you'll be able to do that. Excuse me. And look forward to seeing you all in 2 weeks' time.
2 weeks' time, yeah.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you both.
Yeah.
Thank you both of you. Yeah.
Yeah. Hello, Quinty.
Hello.
Bye, Quinton.
Finally, we meet again. Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah,
Okay.
thanks a lot.
All right. See you all.
Okay then.
See you in 2 weeks then.
2 weeks time. Bye for now.
Yep.